Hello everyone, today I'm going to tell you why I started making silicone molds. Here we go. First things first, a little bit about me. My name is Jake Thompson. I started resin casting about 5 years ago just to make turning blanks for myself so I could turn on the lathe. And shortly after that I started doing pen blanks and then started doing giveaways on Instagram on pen blanks. The first molds that I got, they were plastic ones just like this, HDPE plastic, and they work real well. But you have to take them apart, you mold release them, and they do over time deteriorate. I always thought when I was using these it'd be better if it was silicone. And speaking of more HDPE, I started making my own. They're fine and they make just fine blanks, but once again you have to take them apart. It's not as convenient, and the whole time I used these I wished they were silicone, so I bought a silicone mold. Here's what you're going to get on the market with the silicone molds. This is an inch deep, so I like pouring my blanks an inch deep and then cutting the top of them off so you can see what's inside of it. But these, if you pour it to an inch and then you try to get it to the pressure pot, you're gonna spill it everywhere, and I did that quite a bit. And then I decided to make my own molds. So the first one I ever made was this one, and I had a 5-gallon pot, so I decided I wanted silicone, but I also wanted it to fit in a 5-gallon pot. So here's the first one that I made, and this was some quick cure silicone. I don't even think it's made anymore, but that's not the important part, is that I made a block mold, and I put these spots over here so that if you had extra you could make another blank. And that's how we did it. And you can see on this side here, I put in a fill line. This is actually 1.25 inches deep, and I put a fill line at 1 inch, so you could fill it to 1 inch and you could still get it to the pressure pot. So I decided to go a little bit further with it so I could maximize the room in the pressure pot, and I did it like this. So now this is a single size. It's 9/10 wide, and it's 1.25 inches deep, so that when you're all done, you're going to have a 9/10 blank after you get done cutting it. And this is double that. It fits right inside of the pressure pot. Along the same lines, I wanted to do one with all singles. And as you can see, they have the fill line. These are all exactly the same size, 9/10. I know 3/4 is probably the standard, but I like 9/10 to give you a little bit extra to mess around with. And these all have the fill lines in there. And then the next step on that one was, let's maximize our space in the pressure pot. And so I did the same thing with this and put an extra one over here and here. The next step was, how are we going to get these to the pressure pot? So I came up with these HDPE carriers for these. It's just a flat piece. It's shaped exactly like this, and you just put it on there, and then it's an easy way to go to the pressure pot. And also the block molds are bigger than these, but they sit on there and they are supported enough that it's not going to deform or anything. So they all work with it. I did make prototyping videos for these, and I'll link these below. I'll show you the order in which I made all these. I started off with the 5-gallon molds because I had 5-gallon pots, and somebody had asked me if I could make one. So I did these ones first, and I did them at the same time. I developed both of them at the same time. As you can see, they make 10, and they have a fill line at 1 inch. And these are probably my favorite ones to use. I also at the same time made a 5-gallon block mold, and if you can cut it just right, you can get 14 blanks out of this. There's a fill molds on each one of these, and you can pour it to the appropriate amount, and it's nice. They're super cool. I actually think the block molds are cooler for swirling colors. They just swirl a lot better. There's way more to work with there. People had asked me to make the 2.5-gallon molds for like the Harbor Freight pressure pots, so I went ahead and did that, and we have these, and I think these are fantastic. And I do sell probably more of this one than anything else. And once again, these have the fill lines on them, and you can do that. And if you have a 5-gallon pot, you can still use the carrier with this, and it'll fit in there. I don't make a carrier for these because there's lots of other carriers out there that you can use, but these are super popular, and everybody that gets them is super proud of them. And then I wanted to make some bottle stopper ones, and I don't know why I started making 5-gallon molds first. There's a lot of materials in these. There's a lot that goes into them. If you watch the prototyping videos, you'll see there's a lot that goes into these, and these are expensive. But as somebody that's making bottle stoppers or things that are this size, they're 1.5 by 1.5 by 2.5, but they're actually a 1/4 inch taller so that you can cut them. And the way that I casted this, there's a line all the way around here at a 1/4 inch till the top. So these are they're expensive, so I decided to make a 2.5-gallon version, and these ones are pretty popular too because there's a lot you get for it, and they make awesome blanks. And same kind of thing, you're still going to have the line up here for the fill. And then handle molds, we have some of these. My buddy Joey from Steel Blade Woodwork 3D printed me a form, and I poured it in there, and we went with that. And then I went back to the other way, and I made a triple handle, and this fits right in there just like the other Harbor Freight ones. These are cool. I use these a lot on the show we do every Saturday. I'll put a link to one of those shows below, but these are a very popular thing also. And I ended up getting a 3D printer myself, and somebody had asked me if I could make a 2x4 blank, and here it is. And once again, it is a 1/4 inch taller than it needs to be, so you can fill it up to where you're not going to spill it, and then get it to the pressure pot like that. So I think that's all of the molds I have, and now that I have a 3D printer, then I can make more variations of this. I started making silicone molds just to make them better than what was on the market, and I think I've done that, but it's really turned into something more than that. We have a pretty good community of people that like making blanks and make some silicone molds, and they turn on the lathe, the blanks that we make here. I really enjoy watching people make things out of the things that we make here, if that makes any sense. Whenever I see somebody using the molds on their Instagram or whatever, and they hashtag Jake Blanks, that'd be a way to find the people that are using these already and get part of our little community. One other thing that we do is, before you go check out this video right here. It's explaining the Jake Blank Club and how it works and how it operates and all that kind of stuff. Come back and see us and become part of our community. See you next time. Y'all be good.